So not a lot of people know about this, but in the BlizzCon press release kit, they included this screenshot of a female Tauren looting a box in the Valley of Trials as an example of the new things to find in Season of Discovery. So given that the file name for this image is literally Rune Discovery, I think it's safe to say that you can find a rune in this box. They have said that the way that you acquire runes, along with the new content, will vary from large to small scale, like having to do a class quest to unlock some of the more important runes like Metamorphosis, but I'm gonna guess that this little box is what they're referring to when they mean small scale. And while everyone's looking at these runes in the order of chest, legs, and gloves, because that's the order that they are in the rune menu in the UI, I actually think we're gonna see them in reverse order given that most of the chests are passives and the gloves are abilities. And a lot of those abilities would be nice for leveling. They make sense at low level, like Victory Rush and Quick Strike. That could easily be in this box and make the game really exciting even from level 1. So I'm going to show you guys the places that I found whenever I went through all the starting zones that make sense to put a box in a very similar way as this screenshot, where it's a little obvious but also still out of sight. But first you got to remember to subscribe because almost nobody does it and I like watching the number go up. But anyway, the first one that we got coming up is the Dwarf/Gnome starting area, and this one makes the most sense. You can get on top of the Anvilmar building here in Coldridge Valley. And so I'm going to show you guys how to do that because it's almost exactly the same thing as the Valley of Trials one. And it would really make sense to find a box up here. If I was a developer, I'd put one up here because it's really easy. You don't have to like hill hop or anything. You just walk around the left side here and you just walk right up. Next up is Night Elf, where you can very easily get on top of the buildings coming out of the tree in Shadowglen. You can check this roof without actually having to jump on it, and then you can go up the rest of the tree and then jump down and check all 3 sections of the other part of the building. I could also put one way back here in the spider cave because most people don't know about this. They just kind of jump down after they loot the egg, but there's this whole path where you're supposed to walk through, and there's a chest spawn location here, but I wouldn't be surprised to see one here. I also wanted to show you guys this part of Teldrassil that is not in the starting zone. It's not in Shadowglen, but it is a completely unused cave that's been here the entire time. It's a very easy path to get to it, right past Dolinar, right after you pass the path that goes to the cave where you kill Lord Melanius. You just go all the way up here, up this path, and then whenever you get to the top, you can actually jump down to Shadowglen from here, and if I was a lazy developer, I would just put a rune box right in that cave. For human, there's not a lot of like secret or hidden locations in Northshire, but there are these little sitting rooms that pretty much exist for no reason in the Northshire Abbey Cathedral. There's also this upstairs part where the warrior and paladin trainers are that isn't really used for anything. And there's this other side of the stairs where there's this little cubby that they could put one. I would put one right here because I didn't even know if this was here until I looked around. And as for the Horde, we already know where the Valley of Trials box is, but for Undead, there is this weird building right outside the starting crypt in Deathknell, and this building is not used for anything, it's just for RP, and we know that these are openable because there's a copy of this building in the Brill Graveyard that is used for the level 10 warrior quest where it opens up and you kill a mob. There's also a barn in Deathknell, and all barns have this super easy to get to upper part that Blizzard never uses for anything. So I would check there, and if you see something, you can get up it like this. And for the last one, there's Tauren, and I had to get a little creative with this one because the Red Cloud Mesa is just totally empty. Other than the Quillbore area, there's just like no buildings here. You can't really get on top of any of them, and whenever you do, they're really small. But I think this is actually a pretty clever spot. You've always been able to walk around to the other side of the totem pole wall, but there's really no reason to go up there. But there's this nice little ledge that looks just perfect to put like something at the edge here, and it's pretty easy to get to. You would kind of notice it if you walk past it, and then you'd go up there and get it. So I think it's kind of like an out of sight but still kind of obvious place. That's where I put the Tauren one. That's where I think we could see some boxes for each race's starting zone. If I was a developer and I had to pick places similar to that screenshot, that's what I'd pick. Keep in mind, I have no idea what they'll actually do, but these places are definitely where I'm going to check as soon as the servers go live. I thought it would be a really useful video to make for those of you guys that don't have time to run around the starting zones for hours like I did. And it would also be really funny for me to look back on later and see if I got any of these right, so I'm crossing my fingers. Let me know if you guys have any more ideas for places to find discoverables. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more.